Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of May 23rd, 2021. This is Luke the Big Dog Williams. I'm Caleb Black, along with our in-studio producer, the Mighty Max Fury, and our new in-ring correspondent. I'm going to mess up that word every time.
Yeah, you
Quicksilver. We are talking, it's another top five. Top five. Top five Knockouts Women's Champions from Impact, TNA, GFW. All the damn combined company reigns it's had. We're going to talk about the top five Women's Champions from Impact, TNA. Let's get it started. But first, before we start throwing out some names, let's hear some stuff that we can educate our listeners, our devoted fans, regarding the Women's Championship over yonder in Impact.
Well, let's start with its creation.
Let's hear about it.
It was first introduced on October 14th, 2007 at Bound for Glory.
Ooh, Bound for Glory 2007. I want to say the main event to that Bound for Glory was, I can't remember.
It was a 10 knockout gauntlet match with the likes of Miss Brooks, Christy Hemme, Awesome Kong, Roxy Laveau, Velvet Sky, Shelly Martinez, Jackie Moore, ODB, and Angelina Love, and she outlasted every
single one of them
to become champ.
That was our inaugural champion, Gail Kim. All right, so Luke, I'm going to throw to you. Who's your top five Knockouts Women's Champion?
All right, in number five, I'm going to go. I've got my little list pulled up here. I honestly have to say that I'm going to go number 5 as Tessa Blanchard.
Ooh.
Reason I say that, she had one reign, 147 days long.
Yeah.
With one reign being 147 days long is impressive to me. Also, then, of course, the only reason I think that she didn't hold the title longer than that is because then she went on to the X Division, correct?
Yep.
And then on to the Heavyweight Championship. Yep. So they had bigger plans than just the women's division.
I totally agree.
But yeah, Tessa Blanchard, it's hard not to come in on my top 5.
Regardless of what you think about it personally, was definitely a shoe-in for the women's division for Impact.
Oh, for sure.
Several years ago.
For sure.
My number 5, this might be a surprising pick, Angelina Love.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Angelina Love, prolific women's knockouts champion with 6 reigns. Total overall of the 6 reigns were 226 days. But if you look at her title defenses, Madison Rayne, Velvet Sky, ODB, Gail Kim pretty much held the women's division together in Impact in that period of time. And Madison Rayne
was also your top heel at the time, for the females or the knockouts division.
And Madison Rayne and the Angelina Love singles matches set the pace for the women's knockouts division at that time. Correct. And Angelina Love with her combined reigns, she's my number 5 because she was one of the pioneers. She was one of the best.
My number 4 coming in at number 4 is Mickie James.
Ooh.
Mickie James was 3-time champion for 241 days combined. Mickie James was one of 2 big gets for TNA at that time. Also, Mickie James and Gail Kim were the very first women's main event for an Impact show. Yeah. In a cage.
That's hard to say. Yeah, it was a steel cage match.
With that cross, the Luthez press from the top of the cage all the way to the ground. It's one of the best things I've ever watched. The match itself was during a time where Impact Wrestling was kind of in a low light and really wasn't doing well. Yeah. These girls were like, you guys are going on last. And they were like, okay. Yeah. And then they tore the fucking house.
And that was 2010, right when Impact had just moved to Monday nights?
Yes.
So they were competing head-to-head against Monday Night Raw, and they put the faith in the women for the main event that night. My number 4 is going to be ODB, 4 combined reigns at 153 days. And it's not so much for her combined reigns as women's champion, but she was a different women's wrestler. She was big. She was hard-hitting. She wasn't your conventional beauty or your conventional acrobat or even martial artist. She was a big slobber knockery lady who came in with a great gimmick, killer gimmick, and put the boots. And it was great. I fucking love ODB.
Well, my number 3 coming in on my list is ODB. ODB is one of those talents that you were mesmerized watching the way she worked in the ring. Not to mention, if anyone even knows anything about professional wrestling and you mention the name ODB, they're going to be like, that girl that wrestled on Impact. Yeah. She was in TNA. Yeah. Eric Young's.
The Flash.
Eric Young's woman.
Which is so awesome, by the way.
Oh, yeah. ODB also started her career before TNA. She was in OVW. And working on getting a WWE contract and ended up being offered Impact first.
Yeah.
So I mean,
wasn't it Triple H who went to her and was like, "You should go there.
You should go there
because you'll be a star there.
We have nothing for you here. You should go there." Yeah, for sure.
I agree. My number 3, to follow along with you, is going to be the inaugural Knockouts Women's Champion Gail Kim at 7 reigns with 711 days, which means she averaged 100 days per reign, or a third of a year, equaling 4 months per reign. Also, she's fucking Gail Kim, a pioneer of women's wrestling in the Attitude Era, come to Impact to lend her experience, and her physical ability could still go and help usher in the next generation of women's wrestlers. Before we drop down to these number 2 picks, guys, throw us some information regarding the TNA Knockouts Women's Championship.
As a matter of fact, speaking of coming up on Gail Kim, Gail Kim is also is the only Knockouts champion who's had the title taken away from her twice for different reasons. Once was because of an injury she received right after winning the title. I think that was her 6th reign. And then her 7th reign, which has the record for shortest title reign at 18 hours because of her legit final retirement. She's the only Diva Knockouts champion that had it vacated twice.
Was that the one where she just set the belt down and left?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
With every good, there's a little bit of bad, I guess.
For sure.
I mean, Gail Kim's had been doing it for a long time at that point.
Oh, yeah.
I think she had just, especially after her injury, coming back from that, and she had her last title reign, and she's like, I'm going to go out on top.
Not to mention, there was a tremendous amount of politics regarding who owned Impact at the time.
Yes.
Between the Carters, between the Jarretts, between the networks. Even Billy Corgan was involved for a little while. So, I can understand why anybody wanted to get the hell out of Dodge. Luke, who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Tara.
Oh, good call.
Victoria, to those who WWE. When she come into TNA, in my opinion, and this is just on my opinion,
sure,
legitimized the Knockouts division. She was a star in professional wrestling. She had the name. I mean, they changed the name, but she had that recognizable gimmick coming in that it was like, oh my god, that's Victoria.
She was also the oldest champion.
I didn't know that.
Years old.
She left Impact or left WWE and come to Impact on her own accord by deciding not to sign back with the WWE when she left. She was the first acquisition in the women's division that was like, I came here not because I was told I wasn't good enough by the WWE, but because I want to elevate the talent here.
She was the equivalent to leaving the same reason Kurt Angle left.
She held the title 5 times for a combined 222 days.
Yeah.
But again, Mickie James, Gail Kim, the names go on and on of matches that she had. Of course, that cage match we were talking about. Yeah. She's had several different cage matches. She did the Spider for a little while. It's hard to not put Tara in my top 5.
She's also, just on a quick side note, she had one of the coolest entrances, and you legitimately didn't know who she was in that motorcycle helmet for weeks because they covered up the fact that they got her. Yeah. And they didn't release anything to the dirt sheets. So legitimately, nobody knew. Like, Mark, I'm sure there was somebody Meltzer told, but no one knew. So when she took that helmet off the first night when she was in the ring with Winter, was a genuine fucking pop because people were surprised.
Yes.
It was awesome. My number 2, Awesome Kong. 2 reigns at a combined 347 days, which means if you break it down, she would have held the belt on average 170 days per reign, equaling exactly almost half a year. That aside, again, unconventional. Larger woman, strong powerhouse, had the good opportunity, Luke and I did to actually work with her. She was very professional, very, very cool, but a fucking powerhouse in wrestling and so good. Before we get to our number 1s, we got any more fun facts about the TNA Knockouts Women's Championship, or are we just putting you guys on the spot too much?
The only thing, another thing I do want to mention is, again, going back to Gail Kim, and I know there's a lot when it comes to the Knockouts title when it comes to Gail Kim, because, I mean, when everybody thinks of, TNA Impact Knockout titles, Gail Kim's the number 1 comes to mind. She's the most amount of reigns, has some of the records. The only thing I do want to correct you on, and it's basically because, again, you hadn't had that information. You were talking about the combined amount of time. While, yes, combined 7 reigns for 100 and some odd days. Personally, I think that 18 hours should be stripped off of there, which gives her a higher reign.
Yeah, if you take that off and then consider the average by 6, it would be. Let me do the math real quick. If you divided it by 6, it would be still. Hold on. 1.
Like and subscribe.
Definitely.
Comes over to an average of 100 days. So if you take off this, if you go into by 6, it comes out to closer to 130 to 140 days.
Which makes it
which it does. Yeah, that's
definitely makes a difference.
That's a whole extra month and a half. Hold on, Max has got something for us.
Taya Valkyrie holds the longest reign at one single reign.
That's right.
Of 377 days.
That's right, she does. And speaking in lieu of that brilliant fact, Luke, who's your number 1?
My number 1.
Yeah.
Taya Valkyrie.
You know what's funny? Look at that. You know who I said his number 1 was? Taya Valkyrie.
Legit reign for 377 days, carrying the division on her back when Impact Wrestling was at its lowest point.
Yeah.
And still making television the form of television they did watchable.
Yeah.
Also, the stuff after being champion that she did with the what is it, the Madhouse?
The Impact House.
She made it watchable.
Yeah.
And she brought that legitimacy to the goofiness that she did. Also, I mean, she's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Everything she did was perfect.
She also got a Bound for Glory debut.
Yes.
An inaugural victory at Bound for Glory. Yeah. And won the belt within like a month or month to 2 months of her debut in Impact. If it wasn't that first night, I might have to double check that. However, just got signed to the WWE.
Yes.
And is going to do fucking wonders for their roster.
As long as they
use her right. Use her right, man, because she's so good. Also, John Morrison's wife.
Yes.
That's Adam Cole's girlfriend. No. Guys, that is
I wish I knew Adam Cole's girlfriend personally.
That is our top 5 Knockouts Women's Champion video. Let us know what you think of the Knockouts Women's Division, the champions, the reigns. Let us know if we missed anybody that you liked, or give us some Knockouts matches that you'd like to see us review, because we'll do that too. Leave us a comment down below after you like and subscribe, please.
Hold on, we don't want to review the Sherry Martinez and the other one where they just like get trapped in the ropes and stuff. Don't put that one.
Yeah, no, not that. Don't put that.
Because you don't want to see. You don't want to know what we're going to say.
I will have a straight up cornet connection. Like and subscribe. Find us on Twitter at Pro Wrestling TD. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Send us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com and stay tuned. We still got more stuff coming your way, y'all.